Welcome to Jimmodism Total Nerdery channel and a crash course into our advanced cannons. This little build I slapped together may look like nothing, but it's pretty cool. With advanced cannons, it is namely so that right now it seems that the speed of fire and the ability to just push a lot of bullets into your enemy fast is more important than to have very specific and very advanced shells. And this is just a little crash course into how to make a decent advanced cannon for beginners, and we will only focus on the fast fire variant. And I show you the basics basically. Let me show you what it can do. You can see this beautiful weapon we have made. It can just contain and just maintain this constant stream of enormously high fire rate. It just spams out shells. So if we're going to do a little quick walkthrough of what we have here. We have the barrel piece, we have the mantlet, then we have a firing piece, then we have gauge increasers to make the shells bigger, and we also have coolers. I have a lot of coolers on this just to make it perform as this ridiculously high speed fire. Then we have a lot of ammo intakes and of course feeders, belt feeders in this case, to reach the maximum reload speed. Then we also have this laser targeter just to be able to make altitude detonations. So let us begin to build our new advanced cannon. And of course it's probably a better idea to build this on a turret. You usually want your things on a turret, so yes. I'm just building it right here just to show you. So here we have connectors. I would just begin this on a staple of connectors, just like this. And of course you can build them like backwards or to the side if you want that too, works fine. But this is the most efficient way when you make a turret, of course. And what do we have then? We have something called the advanced firing piece. You just slap that down, and here we have the basic part of our cannon. Then we also have mantlets. The Omni Mantle lets you aim in any direction. If you build this on a turret, you would want an elevation barrel of 3 meters to each side, or if it's mostly are going to aim upwards, it will be just fine with an AA mantlet that can basically aim straight upwards and to the front. We also have an elevation barrel that gives you some elevation and could probably be very useful for like most regular turrets. Then we of course have this Omni Mantlet, which gives us this little basically ball socket thing to aim around with, which is of course basically the only option, this or the 1 meter Omni Mantlet if you have a fixed small cannon. Then we have barrels. Barrels can be in different shapes and forms. We have heavier and lighter barrels, of course, a little bit like the Tram. And we have them in different lengths as well. I'll just slap on a 4 meter barrel here. Just a 4 meter barrel is usually enough. You can see the some optimal values. We will look at that later. All right. So now we've basically done that. Well, you can have muzzle brakes if you want to reduce recoil a little bit. But if you really do need to absorb some recoil, there are something that are called recoil absorbers. But you don't really need to use any recoil absorbers for guns that fire at an extreme high fire rate. And I will basically show you as I did with my turret here that I built before. So we're just going to slap up a local weapons controller to be able for the AI to control this thing straight away, which should be quite useful. Just like that. And on the back of the advanced firing piece here, there is some special little thing here you want to connect up. And that is, of course, the gouge increasers. The gouge increasers also comes with gouge cooling unit, which cools your weapon down. And well, it's pretty important. It is really important, you know, to cool down your barrel and also to have some bigger shells, because otherwise the shells you have will be super tiny. We also have splitters. They don't really contribute to anything else than splitting up so you can connect up stuff in different fun directions, but we'll look a little bit into them later. Now we have autoloaders and ammo clips. Now autoloaders, we have belt feeders and autoloaders. Like, you can have really big shells if you want to, but this tutorial only covers the fast firing things. You have the autoloader of 1 meter, which are pretty nice. They can allow a constant fire. If you have magazines and you have belt feeders, they kind of need to be empty before it will be able to reload, which will give you a little pause. However, the belt feeders will allow you to have a faster rate of fire. So what I do for this is that I just spam these belt-fed autoloaders, just like that. We'll just spam them here too. We can spam them there too. Now you can see we have a little bit of a symmetry problem, and you should probably push this little mantlet in front of the cannon to make it look nicer. But this isn't to make anything look nice, it's just a basic thing here. And here we have ammo input feeder. This is basically the weird little intake that puts ammo into your belt feeders, or your autoloaders basically. So you want these as many as possible on your autoloaders. And I think it will be more symmetrical if we make them there. Oh, whoops. Can't place them there. There we can have them. Beautiful. And we can of course have some... Whoops. Like that. We just fill them up. It's not like super important, just like that. So we have a lot of them basically. That's the important part. Alright, we can go into the cannon here. We have some basic options. Required accuracy before fire and firing delay. It's usually not wrong to be more accurate, so we can just make them a little bit more accurate. But if you want it to spray more, you can make it slightly less accurate, just to make it be able to always have a stream of shots flying out there. Okay, beautiful. Now we of course need some ammunition to this thing. And what you need to do with advanced cannons is you need an ammo controller. You actually need to design a beautiful little shell you can have. And of course your build needs to have ammunition. This build has a lot of ammunition hidden inside, but you also need a shell design. And this shell design can be anywhere on the ship. Here we have ammo customizer. We just add a couple of them on top after this APS ammo controller. And here you can design a different shell. You can make, like my recommendation is to make as large a shell as you can that fits into your cannon. However, when you have different type of like ammo clips, you know, of course, this is a 1 meter autoloader belt fed as well. So it won't fit a very big shot. I think this might fit, but we'll see. But yeah, so you can't make them super big, just so you know. Then we have gunpowder casing. The more of these you have, the faster it will be, like the shell. So you want at least a couple of the gunpowder casings. Then we have warhead body. Nothing wrong with those. We want a warhead or a high explosive head as well to make it a little bit more streamlined. And basically like that. So this is kind of the most basic design. So we go into here, and here we can select what kind of ammo it will input. So we have only this one, so it's very easy to know which it is. And we can then click assign all unassigned intakes to this ammo source. Beautiful. Now they all connect up to this. And if we go to our character and go here, we can fire this thing. But it's kind of slow. And the reason why it's slow is that it isn't cooled very well. If we actually hover over this beautiful little firing piece or any other relevant part of the gun, you can see some different statistics, especially on this thing. You can see the auto loader limit is 970 RPM, the ammo intake limit is basically 2000 RPM, and the cooling limit is only 23 RPM. So this is the thing you kind of need to match. The problem with this is that it doesn't cool down fast enough. So we can have a cooling gauge here, and we can have a splitter like that, put up some symmetry, and have another splitter like that, and then we can go with some cooler units, push down some cooler units there, and now we can go up here. You can see that the cooling limit is 321 RPM, and that's much better, of course. It's not near. You know, you want to balance the ammo intakes to the belt feeders or the autoloaders to the cooling, so it will be kind of more balanced. Let's see if we can shoot this. So if we go close to the firing piece and control it, you can see that our firing speed is heavily increased. Another way to increase the firing speed is, of course, to go onto this beautiful little interface here and just increase the number of barrels. Beautiful, now we have 6 barrels. And you can see we're now spamming out shells. But of course, this shell is so small it basically deals no damage. So, oh, and if you want to offset the firings a little bit, you can add a little small firing delay here. And make sure it's very small when you're dealing with very fast fires. Then you can get this fine, beautiful, lovely stream that you might have been trying to do. Let's select a more reasonable amount of... you can see we're pretty damn quick still. And then we don't even reach the like near... You know, you see that the cooling limit is still like the big problem here. So we can just increase this cooling capacity a little bit. Let me just do that. Now, you may be wondering, why even use ammo clips at all? Well, it's a pretty nice, you know, thing to have actually. You see the ammo clips, we can add them on top of the belt feeders here. And let's see here, like that. And we can also put some ammo intakes onto the ammo clips, which makes us have a lot more of them. By having just a lot of belt-fed autoloaders like this, what we're doing is we are basically taking all the disadvantages with the belt feeder and just paying for it. You know, ammo, it costs like 120, but an autoloader like this one costs 200, and belt-fed autoloader costs 500. So it's really expensive actually. So you can see that we have added some cooling here to make it fire a lot faster. We could make a little solution of this, and we could have fewer of these belt-fed autoloaders and just put ammo clips on them. Or we could exchange these belt-fed ones for normal 1 meter autoloaders. So let's do that just for science, and let me show you the difference. Now you can see the autoloader limit has dropped quite a bit, and it's also the new threshold of this gun. Pretty decently fast though. And now you might realize that, you know, our shells are pretty small still. And how to fix this, of course, that is we change the cooling units to regular gauge increasers. And these beautiful things can be mixed very widely, sorry. And now you can see this little thing here. It says no shell loaded. You know why? It became too fat. that works with one like that. If we add another one, no shell loaded. This means that our beautiful shell we designed is too long for this caliber. And if we want to use this caliber, let's say we want to use this caliber, what we need to do is basically go down here and see, okay, that did it. We needed just to remove a little bit here. Now you might have realized that our beautiful shells didn't explode on the targets, they usually bounced off. We need to add some stuff to this. What we're going to add is something called Inertial Fuse, which will make it basically detonate when it's about to bounce. So let's have our HE solution there. We can see they are indeed taking some beautiful shots there, and it's loading it, and we have a much nicer caliber. And you can of course understand that, you know, our firing speed is a lot slower now. If we want to make it feel a little bit faster, we can put in a tiny little firing delay here. We can do like that. What we also can do, making this a little smaller, is of course once again go in here and increase the amount of barrels. This will of course also make the gouge smaller. So we could probably fit the good old shell we tried before in this thing. And as everything with from the depth, you probably need to tweak stuff a tiny little bit until you're kind of satisfied. And this feels kind of nice. And the beautiful thing with our more cheap regular autoloaders, like if we had a belt-fed autoloaders on this structure, it would of course be able to have a faster firing speed than it has now. We just changed them for some budget option. But it's still kind of a fast fire with, you know, it's a pretty decently fast fire. And once again, of course, having ammo clips is the cheaper solution. I'm just showing you how to make a beautiful spam turret that just can spew out a lot of shells very fast. And the nice thing with advanced cannons is that they tell you the statistic here. We can see the autoloader limit, we can see the ammo intake limit, and we can see the cooling limit. So we can, you know, adjust them accordingly. We can basically just, you know, remove a few of these. And if we have some problems with bad recoil, we can put on some recoil absorbers here. They take some of that force and just eats it up. So we can put them, the bigger ones are better. We can put them on one of these here. You can see recoil 175. And it see, it absorbs like that. It has the ability to absorb 500 of something instead of just the 400. So if you have recoil problems, you can use them. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Anyways, we here added something called the beautiful proximity fuse. And as we made a caliber smaller, this of course also means that we can probably put in that good old shell we had. So if you want to instead keep this shell design and have more barrels, you can just put more gouge increasers on it until they tell you no ammo selected because it's too big. And if you go into this one or just the ammo here, you can get some beautiful statistics. You can even select your shell diameter here, and you can get some nice statistics. That's expected muzzle velocity and what kind of rack you need or autoloader you need. And well, you have also kind of barrel length, and this tells you that the barrel only needs to be 2.2 meters for full burn. So it's pretty useful stuff in here. If you have more gunpowder casings, let me just show you. If we go to casing here and we select gunpowder, you can see that the barrel length needed does increase too. So it's pretty advanced, and if you don't have so much gunpowder, you don't need as long barrels. It's kind of very advanced. It also makes a lot of sense. So there we go. It's a balancing thing. Now let me just show you basically what this beautiful proximity, no, did I select proximity fuse? No, inertial fuse, thank you, does. Now we have a 3-barrel solution there. You can see it does a lot of damage, but none of them bounces off. Because when they are close to hit, or when they are close to bounce off, sorry, they just detonate. And that's the beautiful thing. So a fuse like that is something you really want to have. If you instead are dealing with an AA target, you of course should go in here. And I would... let's make this to an AA gun instead. Let's have some more gunpowder casings. And let us then have an altitude fuse, making it detonate on the same altitude as the target. Then we're going to have a flak warhead and a flak head. And the altitude fuse, make it explode above very much and explode below very small, so that it doesn't detonate anywhere except if it has a target. We also need a little specific part actually. We need to go in here and we need to go to advanced cannons and select the laser targeter. You can hide this anywhere where it can connect. And we have also some offset altitudes and offset time. I just want to keep this a little bit delayed explosion, because otherwise I noticed they tend to sometimes explode before the target. What this thing will do is create some kind of weird imaginary laser beam that kind of guesses where the what the altitude of the target is, and it will feed that info to the altitude fuse, which will try to detonate on that level. And of course this only kind of works if we actually have a, you know, an enemy at that altitude. So let us spawn a duster and remove control from ourselves. You can now see it does explode on this same altitude, and well, I'd say that's pretty effective. You know, of course this isn't any kind of all-encompassing and covering tutorial, but it's a little basic thing that tells you how to make some kind of fast-firing turret to be able to spew out a lot of shells. And as you can see from this little test here, is that, well, we do deal a lot of damage. Now we use a flak warhead against a ship, which isn't the optimal thing. You can play around a lot with shells, but I just found that I kind of like the explosive shit best. You can also have kinetic damage, armor piercing, like this is a science, and some stuff has changed, so a lot of people are a little bit unsure right now. But, you know, spamming out loaders, ammo intakes, and balancing these after the statistics, you know, this isn't really balanced, but this is, you know, how it is. And you can just make it beautiful like this. And a little extra tip that you might want to have, that's putting in an idle angle, which you can make them face a beautiful direction when they're not in use. You can also set the spacing here, and you can allow the barrels to spin, which is probably a bad idea because, well, you can see why. God, it looks so sad now. Oh well, oh well, oh well. I think this basically tells you everything you need to know though, and make the shell as big as you can. So I'd recommend you to make the gun and decide the caliber and things like that, and barrels and how you want to make it, and then you just make as large a shell as you can and fit it in there. There are even like what is it, like single modules if you are really on the limit of reaching the maximum size. But well, we'll make some more in-depth tutorials sometime, but this will do for now. This is how you can get into fast-firing advanced cannons, and I must say it feels pretty decently successful. They are pretty strong, these small example turrets I just made here, but mind you, a little bit expensive. But that's advanced cannons for you. In any case, hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please do subscribe for future videos, because we will be back, of course. And until next time, this is Jim with Total Nerdy Channel, officially signing out.